welcome again to Classics with Kelsey and Sarah, and we're here to talk about one of our very favorite books,
Yes.
Christy by Catherine Marshall.
Yeah. It's actually my favorite fiction book of all time, I think. It's just like, if people ask me my number one favorite book, that's usually my go-to, because it just was big for me when I first read it when I was 15, and actually I think we both had read it before.
Yes.
Yeah, but we both really wanted to reread it, so.
Yeah, it was very, very much a book that you want to read again and again. And
yes.
I think it kind of grows with you, because we both noticed that different things stood out to us the second time we read it when we were older.
Yeah. So it's a story about a girl who lives in Nashville, Tennessee, who goes to serve at a mission in the Appalachian Mountains in the late 1800s, right?
Yeah, I think
or
around the turn of the century. Yeah,
yes. And so, and it's really it's a kind of a coming of age story, and that she's really figuring out life and whatnot, and with the help of mentors, and deals with some really tough stuff.
Yeah, she's having to learn how the mountain folk live, and trying to figure out a balance between letting them have their traditions and then also helping them improve and their quality of life, and also learn more about Christianity.
Yeah. Because she's the teacher in a one-room schoolhouse, which I've always found fascinating as a concept.
Yeah, same here.
So yeah, definitely. When I first read it when I was 15, it was just very impactful for me, because of course at that age you're really starting to explore your faith as your own, at least I was, and it was really helpful to me without having to deal with a lot of the really tough stuff that Christy was, to really see the importance and value of knowing why you believe what you believe, not just because other people say it is. And even though you do believe it, because I think one of the valuable things I saw as rereading is Christy loves the Lord, and even in the beginning, and she knows kind of why she believes, but not all the reasons behind, and trips her up some.
Yes, and so with encounters with different people, like Neil McNeil, who's a doctor, and David Grantland, who's the reverend at the mission, and then various other people she meets, she really has to know what she believes and be able to explain it and defend it and really hold on to it.
Yeah. So for you, when you were rereading, what do you think was the biggest? What was the thing you got most out of this last time reading it?
Yeah, probably. I think what I got out of it this time was just I think understanding people's viewpoints from all walks of life, and then just kind of discovering how God's truth applies to each of them, and how you can express that and share that with other people. And it was very, very rich in that sense.
I feel like I understood a lot more of the characters better this time. Like, I remember the first time I read it, hating certain of the characters, just like, because I saw like the surface motivations, and like especially I felt like I understood David Grantland a lot better this read through. Like before, I really didn't understand him, and then I felt like because I understood a lot more that tendency towards feeling like you have all the answers even though you really don't. And like several of the characters, I just realized as I've gotten older, I was like, oh, that's why they're doing what they're doing, and why they're reacting that way, and they're not bad people because of that. She does feel like a very classic author, just in the depth that in which she goes into characters.
Yeah, and I think she wrote this book in the 1960s, and so it's quite a bit more modern than some of the other books that we've been reading. But yeah, she has that classic, timeless feel, like you said. Just you really understand the characters because she goes into them so deeply, and the descriptive nature writing is also very lovely, the way that because it's a very beautiful area of the country, of course.
Oh yes, makes you just want to go spend some time in the Appalachian Mountains. And Christy was so impactful even for the Christian writing community. I mean, we have the Christy Awards now, which were directly based on that. So it's pretty neat to see that the impact it had.
Yeah, probably one of the first major Christian fiction books
Yeah.
that just really people just still love nowadays. And yeah, I mean, it has everything. It's got great characters. It's got a lot of suspense and adventure, and it's got a lot of really rich spiritual content that is just really good to absorb and deepens your own walk with God.
Yes. And plus the descriptions are just so real. You really feel like you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, the climb to the mountain was one of my favorite times because she and Fairlight go on the climb up to that mountain. And it's just like, so beautiful and so realistic. You feel short of breath just along with them.
Beautiful.
So she really has a lot of talent.
Yeah, and should we mention that we're going to be doing another book by Catherine Marshall?
Oh, yes. Yes. So we decided that we loved Catherine Marshall. So actually right now we're about to start Julie. So that, and we were talking about next year doing A Man Called Peter. Because it just like Catherine Marshall just like has a great way with words, and it's really fun to mix in with some of the older classics, some of the newer kind of Christian classics, and especially not only as good readers, but since we're also writers, it's also fun to see that as well.
Yes, she's a very inspiring author, that's for sure.
So, next time we're going... What book are we going to be discussing?
We're going to do Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Oh, yes. So, that was definitely... That'll be interesting to discuss. So, thank you so much for joining us for Classics with Kelsey and Sarah.